Okay, it's over, baby. Welcome to the program, everyone. We start with something helpful. Support for the show comes from ZBiotics. Let me tell you something. I'm too old to be waking up with that slow, sluggish feeling after a night out. I don't bounce back like I used to. And that's why I keep ZBiotics in the house. It's called pre-alcohol. You drink it before the first drink of the night, and it helps your body break down that toxic byproduct that actually makes you feel rough the next day. It's not dehydration. This stuff was invented by actual scientists, PhDs, real PhDs. The first time I tried it, it was a friend's birthday dinner, and I had my little cocktail, enjoyed myself, got home late, and the next morning I woke up feeling good. Not 21 years old good, but good enough to walk out and get some coffee and get my day going, no problem. That's a win for me. So if you've got holiday parties coming up, tailgates, dinners, whatever it is, make ZBiotics your first drink of the night. Go to zbiotics.com/lemon and use my code LEMON for 15% off of your first order. And remember, they offer a money-back guarantee, no hassle. If you don't like it, you get your money back. Head to zbiotics.com/lemon and use the code LEMON. Good morning, everybody out there in Lemon Nation and Lemon Land. How are you guys doing this morning? I take that back. I actually feel better than I felt when I was 21 years old because I was kind of a lazy slug back then, getting out of the teen years and you sleep all day and blah, blah, blah. Anyways, welcome. It says turn the TV off, but not yet, because I usually say that at the end. I'm afraid to say it because then Andy might roll the end card and then we'll have like a 30-second show. But anyways, this is my turn the TV off shirt, and it says a Don Lemon Show right there. So welcome, Lemon Nation. Let me know where you are this morning, how it is. We'll get to the news. Oh, you know what? I forgot. I want to show you guys something. Andy, I'm going to send you something. But you know that feeling you had, like it feels like winter. And for the first time, if you live in an old building, if you have a radiator, you guys are going to know what I'm talking about. So I was sitting here and I was doing the ads earlier, and the radio, or some people call it a radiator, right? The radiator is right next to me. It's the first time that I heard that sound of the radiator coming on, and the wall is warm, and that, and that means the steam. Anybody out there got an old radiator like that? So yes, that is what I heard this morning. I'm going to send this to you, Andy. You can put it up, and I'll tell you what I did yesterday. And you guys are going to think it's funny. And I did a little skit with him. It was on the podcast or whatever. So, the government shutdown has ended. We're going to talk about all of that. Let me know what you're interested in. Thank you. I'm glad you guys like the shirt. I try to match the background, the green, somewhat. It was a little bit of a rush this morning because we had so much to get to. And I was writing. So you guys know I was in DC and came back from DC yesterday. Not delayed, thank goodness, but I made the plane because I did the show. Actually, the first time, it's not the first time I did the show from an airport lounge, but the first time I did it like right in the middle of the airport lounge. Usually I go into one of those quiet booths on the few times that I've done it. And so you sit in one of those like little soundproof booths. It's no bigger than a telephone booth. It's actually maybe even smaller, an old telephone booth. And I usually do that, but I sat right in the middle of the lounge, airport lounge, and nobody cared. And you guys didn't care because engagement was great. The numbers were good. 100,000 folks watching. And that's fantastic. So, so I flew back yesterday, landed, and went right to this person's show. Do you guys recognize this guy? There he is. Tell me if you know who that is. And he had this whole thing planned with me. He was going to talk and do all these questions. And then we just ended up talking about the good old days and what's going on. Oh my God, Twitch. Hi, Twitchers. The Twitch folks are in here this morning. Thank you, Twitch. I'm so glad that you're here. Twitch, I owe you some stuff that I'm going to do. Yeah. So put some of the Twitch comments up, please, guys. So hi, Twitch. Just want to shout out. So Twitch .tv, I think it's /lemon or Don Lemon. That's our Twitch account. So go check us out there. That's our other account that we're on. So Mari has been asking me to be on he has a new podcast, and it's called On Par with Mari Povich. And the schedules had not worked out. And so I got to do the entire thing. He taught me how to say, Don, you are not the Father. Or, Don, you are the Father. And then we just started reminiscing, because I'll tell you a little secret, something that we talked about during the thing, is that Maury, I worked at the same station with Maury when I was just a little green pea. I didn't know anything. I was like just green and young and a whippersnapper, and I weighed, probably 150 pounds, and I used to run up and down those stairs to deliver scripts to people in the newsroom. I was a production assistant. And so I don't know if you guys know about it. This is a good old days. This is old days. So if you don't know, you don't know. So I worked at Channel 5 on the Upper East Side of Manhattan, 205 East 67th Street. WNYW, John Rowland, Corinne Mahalik, Rosanna Scotto, Len Brown. But I didn't work for Good Day New York, which was Jim Ryan. I didn't work. They were right next door to us. So anyway, I worked for the 10 o'clock news. And in the same building, in that building, which was Metro Media, does anybody remember the old days? A Current Affair. And Maury Povich was the anchor of A Current Affair. And I would sneak into the A Current Affair studio and watch Maury Povich do the news, because I wanted to do so. Anybody that was on the air, I wanted to emulate them. I wanted to be on the air so bad. I would just watch them. So I would go in and watch. I don't know if you guys remember. This is A Current Affair. I don't know if you guys remember that. Anyways, so Maury didn't know me from a hole in the wall, because I was just a little kid and I was afraid to approach him or whatever. So I never really talked to him, but I would sneak in the studio and just watch from the rafters back in the 90s. And so you remember A Current Affair with the triangle, and then it would go across the thing and goes almost like Dum from Law and Order. Yes, A Current Affair, and it was Maury Povich. And so Maury Povich and I have had very similar paths. I mean, he's older than me. He's been around since the 1970s. I haven't been around that long. He's been doing news since then. And he told me about his journey. And then we worked at the same station in Chicago, not at the same time. At WMAQ, though, he worked there in the 70s, I think he said, and they were at the Merchandise Mart. By the time I got there in the 2000s to watch Barack Obama's rise, they were already in the NBC Tower in Chicago. So anyway, we just started talking, and all of a sudden he's like, we've been talking for a long time. We got to go. I don't even think we covered the stuff that we needed. Anyways, so that's my story before I get you into the news. Okay. Guys, don't forget to hit those thumbs up, the likes, and subscribe, because that's how we stay viable. Closing in on getting our plaque for our more than 1 million subscribers. So help us out. Make sure you're subscribed. Okay. Go hit that subscribe button to make sure it's there, right at the bottom of your screen, right near the Don Lemon Show logo. Okay. So good morning, everybody. Lemon Nation, Lemonhead. Let me hear a big good morning, everyone. Good morning, Don. Look, I'm going to take my time with you today, because what's happening in Washington, D.C., this is not ordinary. It's not normal. I tell you that. It's not political theater. It's not another headline built on outrage or spin. What we are watching is fear. Okay, gather around I would say, you used to say gather around the TV set. Gather around whatever device you're on, your phone, your computer. Gather around, because what we're watching is fear. They are scared. This administration is running scared. And the one who is the scaredest, if that's a word, the one who's the most scared is Donald Trump. I'm telling you, I've been doing this for a long time. I've been interviewing and around really important people, the most important people in the world. I did not even brush my hair this morning. What are you doing, Don? Not that you guys can tell, but because I just got it cut so short. But I've been interviewing and been around in the company of really important people for at least 25, 30 years that I've been in broadcasting, since 1992. I think I've been doing this since 91 or 92. The kind of fear that starts behind closed doors and then it spills out into microphones because the people holding it can no longer keep it contained. I don't know if you've ever, like when you first started a job, if you were a young person and then the bosses or whatever would go into the room, into the boardroom or into the office, and they close the door, but you could hear it. And you're like, oh, they walk out here like they know everything. They're confident, and behind their fear, they're like yelling at each other, like, what are we going to do? Right? Yeah. Someone said he opened his own can of whoop ass. He did. And that fear is coming from one place. That's the release of the Epstein files. Again, I have covered presidents. I have covered scandals. I have covered powerful men who knew how to hide their sins and powerful institutions that helped them do it. But what I have seen what we're witnessing in the last 24 hours from Donald Trump and from the Republicans who have spent years protecting him, it tells me that something new has entered the story. Something new has entered the story. Truth has entered the room. And when truth enters the room, a truth cannot be managed. A truth cannot bully, a truth that they cannot run from. Truth has entered the room. I woke up with with this sort of just sitting on my chest going, not the headlines alone, it's not the rumors, but something that's deeper, something really heavier than that. When powerful men panic like this, there's always a reason for it. It's not random. It's never without cause. It's because the truth is coming through the door, and they can hear its footsteps. It's like behind you, like you're looking, it was a Grim Reaper looking over your shoulder because they know it's coming. Donald Trump knows it's coming. Why do y'all think that Ghislaine Maxwell is in that fancy Club Med? It's not really prison. Well, why do you think she's there? I can hear the footsteps, baby, in the dark. You know what I'm talking about. Tell me if you know that. I keep hearing footsteps in the dark. That's the truth. It's coming up behind you, Donald Trump, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel. That's the truth coming up behind you, Todd Blanche. I'm just saying, Dan Bongino. So let me walk you into what happened, okay? So yesterday, the Oversight Committee released a small batch of documents from the Epstein estate. Not even a full archive. There are still thousands. There's so much here that's going to come out. Yes, it's the Isley brothers. Thank you very much. It's not even the full archive. It's just a handful of emails. And even in those first pages, we see something that Donald Trump desperately hoped would never make it into public view. Look, the man, I don't even know how many times he's mentioned. It has been said he's in there a couple hundred times. I don't know. It could be a couple thousand times. If there's that many documents, he seems to be in there a lot more than most people. Epstein telling Ghislaine Maxwell that a young woman spent hours at his house with Trump. Where's that one? We have that one. Put that one up, Andy. Spent hours at his house with Trump. That's the one with Ghislaine Maxwell. And he said, the one that hasn't barked. That one, Andy, that email. Do we have that one? There it is. Spent hours at the house with him. He has never been mentioned. Police chief, etc. I'm 75% there. I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. The victim spent hours at my house with him. Wow. Then there's another one that says Epstein, they're saying that Trump knew about the girls. That he knew about the girls. That he asked Ghislaine Maxwell to stop. Wow. Victim at Mar-a-Lago. Trump said he asked me to resign. Never remember. Of course, he knew the girls as he asked Ghislaine to stop. He knew about the girls as he asked Ghislaine to stop. Epstein writing that in all the years of scandal and exposure, the one person who never spoke, never turned, never barked was Donald Trump. When a man at the center of a trafficking empire writes that you knew The air changes. So why would he be writing that to Ghislaine Maxwell? I doubt that Jeffrey Epstein ever thought that this would be revealed, like these emails would be read by the world. So why on earth would he have a reason? Like, I'm not saying that he's a credible source, but just logically think about this. Why would he write that back then? When was that email? When were these emails written, Andy? What are the dates on? This is like 2011 and then 2015. This was 2011, right?
Yeah.
In 2015. So why would he write that back then? Do you know what I'm saying? This is before like the real scandal started to happen. The scandalicious part of it started to happen. So when someone who's like the most prolific trafficker in history starts writing that, you know, the man knew about it, everything changes, right? In the last day, we have seen the air change around Donald Trump. Scared. I don't see him that much, but he may be out there. He's going to have to answer some questions. And when someone asks questions, he ignores them or they rush the press out of the room. The White House is strong-arming Republican lawmakers, calling them, pulling them aside, telling them to stand down on the discharge petition that would force the release of every unclassified Epstein document. Now, they are moving the way men move when something behind them is on fire and they don't want anyone else to smell the smoke. Like, oh, don't over there, spray some perfume. As a matter of fact, he was spraying perfume the other day because they don't want people to smell the smoke. That's what he's doing. Perfect example of what he's doing. Trying to cover the smell. Let's spray, distract, whatever. And the panic is it's not just coming from the administration, it's coming from Republicans who have stood by Trump through everything. This man has defied what Donald Trump has survived politically, has defied more than the odds. I mean, it's quite extraordinary. But Thomas Massie, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, Nancy Mace, these are the people who have defended Trump with their reputations, with their careers, with their dignity. So if these folks are that, they must know something. And because now they're saying release the files. Think about that. Think about that. These lawmakers have survived every storm because they believe Trump was the source of their power. And now they are stepping away from him, not slowly, not quietly. I shouldn't say they're stepping away from them because some of them are still like MAGA loyalists. But on this one issue, they are stepping away from him, and they're not doing it slowly. They're not quiet about it, openly, quickly. They're not quiet because they can feel something moving under their feet. And maybe it's that, which is interesting, if they want to remain in office, that maybe they have more political capital with their constituents and the people who actually support them than someone else that they're supporting. They are not responding to Democrats here. They're responding to their own voters. They're not responding to Trump here. They're really responding to their own voters. They're hearing from their own people that this story does not sit right. Something is not sitting right. I'm sure my mom is at home laughing because we say that all the time. So, that Trump's fear does not sit right. That the filing suggests a man who appears to know more than he is letting on, because he has denied all of it, basically pretend he didn't know him, and then all the pictures started coming out and he's laughing and kikiing with him. And when Trump's own base starts asking questions, his grip weakens. This is where you begin to understand why the panic is so sharp. Why is it so loud? Why it's so frantic? Because Trump has survived storms that would have ended any other politician in modern history. I said I was going to take my time with you this morning. Are you okay? Can I take my time? Can I take my time with you this morning? Trump has defied and survived storms that would have ended any other politician in modern history. I'm going to go through them. I'm going to take my time with you. So let me get this word in from the sponsors. We're back in 2 minutes. Support for today's show comes from Lean. Now, look, we all have tried those quick fix diets. We all have lost weight, gained it back, lost a little, gained more. I did not even know there was a name for it. Well, doctors call it weight cycling, and it's actually dangerous. It puts real stress on your heart, your liver, all of it. That's why I was impressed when I learned about lean. This is not a shot. It's not one of those GLP injectables. Lean is an oral supplement made by doctors, and it's designed to help you keep the weight off in a healthy way. It works in 3 ways. It helps maintain healthy blood sugar. It helps control appetite and cravings. And it helps burn fat by converting it into energy. So when you burn fat, you're more likely to keep the weight off and stop that up and down cycle. So if you want to lose weight at a healthy pace and actually keep it off, give lean a try. Go to takelean.com and use my code LEMON for 20% off. That's LEMON at takelean.com. Today's show is sponsored by Cozy Earth. You know that one quiet moment during the holidays when the house finally settles down, the tree lights are glowing, the music is soft, the dogs are curled up at your feet. That's my favorite part of the season. And it always reminds me how much I love good, comfortable sheets and blankets. I've given Cozy Earth as a gift before. I got a set for my mom. She is picky about everything that touches her skin. And she called me a week later and said, "Hey, Don, these sheets feel like that someone ironed them with a cloud." Well, they are made of viscose from bamboo. They help regulate your temperature, and they keep you cool all night long. They give you a 100-night sleep trial. Okay, so if you don't love them, send them back. They give you a 10-year warranty too. And for the holidays, Black Friday came early. You can stack my code DON on top of their site-wide sale for up to 40% off. Go to CozyEarth.com and use the code DON. And if you get the survey afterwards, well, mention you heard about Cozy Earth right here on the Don Lemon Show. Wrap the people you love in something that actually feels luxurious. Wrap them in luxury. Okay, welcome back to the program. So I said Donald Trump has survived, things that people haven't survived in modern history. So let's just go through it. And I'm not even going to, I was going to start with the Access Hollywood tape, but remember, even before that, he started this bullshit about Barack Obama. Do you guys remember that? That Barack Obama was not born in this country. And he, this is a whole birth certificate thing. And I mean, and anybody else, like can you imagine somebody saying that, basically saying you shouldn't be president. You're the black man, the first black person. You can't be president because you weren't born in the country. What kind of bullshit is that? Okay, so that was pre his running. That happened to with Donald Trump. But he survived everything. He survived the Access Hollywood tape, 2 impeachments, class actions. Do you remember Trump University? And like he had to pay all of this money. Civil verdicts, sexual abuse, assault rulings, indictment in multiple states. And yet he walked out of each one of them as if the laws of political gravity did not apply to him. Now imagine being found, anyone in this day and age, think of the Harvey Weinstein of it all, but think this was a civil court. But imagine that being found, for sexually abusing, I forget if it's assault, the exact one, but it was in a civil court, found liable for E. Jean Carroll. Imagine anybody surviving that in this day and age. But this story lives in a different moral dimension here, because this is look, it's not about taxes. It's not about documents. Remember the documents that he had? He survived that. The classified documents that he had in his bathroom at Mar-a-Lago. So it's not about a phone call, not about a tweet. This is about young women. This is about girls. This is about exploitation. This is about a trafficking network that operated with the protection from the wealthy, the connected, the powerful. This is about harm that does not fade away with time or excuses, but they try to get it to fade away. Donald Trump is trying to get it and trying to get everyone to divert attention. He's out there. Please get me. He's tweeting about it today, or Truth Socialing. Please get me those if you have them, if you have one, and I'll put up what he's saying, because he's still trying to deflect and then using the wrong language. I think he's saying deflections instead of defections. That was his latest. There should be no deflections. There should be no deflections. There should be no defections. That's what he wants. And let me tell you something as a journalist. as a black man, as someone who has seen systems fail people over and over, when a story touches the question of who we protect and who we abandon, the truth becomes heavier. It's harder to hide. It's harder to outrun. So that's why he is tweeting stuff like this. Put it up for me, Andy, so that I can read it for you. He's saying, the Democrats are trying to bring up the Jeffrey Epstein hoax again because they'll do anything at all to deflect on how badly they've done on the shutdown and so many other subjects. Only a very bad or stupid Republican would fall into this trap. The Democrats cost our country $1.5 trillion with their recent antics of viciously closing our country, while at the same time putting many at risk, and they should pay a fair price. There should be no deflections to Epstein or anything else, and any Republicans involved should be focused only on opening up our country and fixing the massive damage caused by the Democrats. Now, I'm not sure, maybe saying there should be no deflections or what I don't know. But a lot of what he says doesn't make sense. So I don't like his sentence structure. Like, can someone give him like a grammar thing? Does he have, what was that? Oh, Ask Eves or something that can help him with grammar and sentence structure? Can we do that for him, please? Can someone please help him out with that? But first of all, it was not the Democrats who shut down the country. It was the Republicans who shut down the country. It's his own party. So he's right. There should be no deflections from this. This is why the country is reacting so differently right now, because this time the victims are not abstract. They are not political talking points. It's not like a wall over there. It's not like someone that he has made into enemies or that he can even make into enemies. Although I believe that he's tried, right, to say, to make it into you can't otherize this, but he's tried. These are real people whose stories have been buried for years under money and influence and fear. And I'll share something with you that people who in the know about this, what they say, when I ask them, people say, well, why aren't the victims talking more? Why aren't they saying who the perpetrators are and all of this? And one of my sources said, well, Don, I believe that there are a lot of, things that folks can't say, because back in the day, you just didn't talk about those things. And there could have been agreements in place not to discuss. So I don't know if it's from the victims or just from people in the know. I don't want to put that onto the victims or the survivors, but from the people in the know. So a lot of this stuff has been buried under years of money and influence and fear. That is a believing. Yes, and thank you, Rosemary, 1971. They may not be talking because their lives were threatened. We don't know. We don't know. Thank you. Death threats and all of that. We don't know. But the one thing that gets it all out there without having to implicate any of the survivors, not to break any of the rules or any sort of legal whatever, is if the information is released, then they finally have justice, and they can, and the information will speak for them and speak for itself. And the filing suggests that Trump was not as distant as he claims, right? And you knew that because he's pointing over here to Larry Summers. He's pointing over here to Bill Clinton. He's pointing over here to all of these people that he just keeps pointing to. But what about you? You are the president of the United States, and it appears from by all accounts, many accounts, that your administration is involved in a cover-up, and what they're trying to do is protect you. And it appears that he was not a bystander that he pretends to be, that these things suggest that he knew. They suggest that he saw. They suggest that he understood the world Epstein was operating in. They suggest that he had more proximity than he is admitting to. And that is what terrifies him so much. That is what terrifies his advisors. That is what terrorizes the people who have built their futures around Donald Trump's survival. Have you ever built your future, your present, your career, whatever, around someone else's survival. We kind of all do it, right? We're thinking that the place that we work for, the company we work for, the boss we have, that they're going to survive, especially if they're a champion of our work and they, they understand and get us and our talents and they promote us. Then we are operating right under the assumption that they're going to survive and that their survival will be our survival. And so that's where the Trump folks are right now. Because if these files tell the story that many people suspect that they tell, then this is not a political scandal. This is a moral come to Jesus with a man who has spent his life hiding behind wealthy people, hiding behind a wealthy social circle, hiding behind wealth and performance and myth. And those myths are starting to crack. Donald Trump, let me just tell you, if you don't know, if you are a MAGA head, if you are you may be a hater or a troll in here. Let me just tell you something. Let me just look you right in the eye and tell you this, because I know the people, many of the people who did it, who worked with him, who put him in these positions. That whole celebrity apprentice thing with Donald Trump, and that was all bullshit. That was all made up, all scripted, all television produced. The myth of the successful, talented, flawless businessman. A myth. Performance. And those myths are starting to crack. So let me tell you what else I'm seeing here. Republicans are not circling around him the way that they used to. They are not rushing to the microphones right now to protect him. Do you hear people rushing to protect him to the microphones? How many people have you heard? They're not screaming about witch hunts with their usual conviction. They know. They see the fear in the White House. They hear the whispers. They recognize what it means when a man who never panics suddenly cannot hide his panic. Some people are still carrying his water, though, like the right-wing media. Get that clip ready from Fox News, Andy, because if you saw this report on Fox News, you might not have any idea of what actually was in the emails and that the emails were damning and that all this information was coming out. You would just believe it was a witch hunt from the Democrats, even though they're always saying, you hate him, it's fake news, you're putting words in his mouth, when you are just quoting or his own words are out there. You're just saying, okay, let me just roll the tape. No, that's not real. It's like, wait, what is wrong with you people? Now you watch this and tell me if you think this is why they're in a completely different universe. Tell me what you think of this report and if it actually makes any sense to you. Here it is.
Caroline Leavitt fielded questions about the release of those emails from House Democrats related to President Trump and Jeffrey Epstein, calling it a manufactured hoax. That was moments ago at the White House. Our senior White House correspondent, Peter Doocy, was in that briefing and joins us now. Hi, Peter.
And Sandra, the argument from officials here that was made by Caroline Leavitt in the briefing room a few minutes ago is that there's a tell that shows that these Epstein emails being released today is a partisan exercise by congressional Democrats. This is how she came to that conclusion.
There are no coincidences in Washington, D.C., and it is not a coincidence that the Democrats leaked these emails to the fake news this morning ahead of Republicans reopening the government. This is another distraction campaign by the Democrat and the liberal media, and it's why I'm being asked questions about Epstein instead of the government reopening because of Republicans.
And just a few minutes after Caroline Leavitt went back into her office in upper press, President Trump posted this on Truth Social. He said the Democrats are trying to bring up the Jeffrey Epstein hoax again because they'll do anything at all to deflect on how badly they've done on the shutdown and so many other subjects. Only a very bad or stupid Republican would fall into that trap. He goes on, there should be no deflections to Epstein or anything else, and any Republicans involved should be focused only on opening up our country. The White House also argued that they have been extremely transparent when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein, asking the Justice Department to release grand jury information, for example, something that a judge ultimately said couldn't be done right now. Sandra.
Okay, now, People, let me ask you, what was the one thing that wasn't in that report? I'll wait for a second. What wasn't in the report? Thank you, caring and loving. I appreciate it. Thank you for your support. Just joined Lemon. Head, great to see you. Have your own platform and are doing so well since you left CNN. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Some of the older, I don't mean old folks, but old fans and people over at CNN are finally realizing that we're here, Lemon Nation. And so I ask all the time, and they'll tell me the same thing. So thank you, caring and loving, and thank you for your very generous support. And I appreciate, welcome to all of our new members, and thank you. So what was it in that report? Thank you. The words of the letters. Thank you very much. Put that up. The emails, Rosemary, 1971. All they had to do was put the emails up there and said, this is what he said. This is what Epstein said. This is what he wrote to. This is what, that. None of it. None of it. Get the Massey thing ready for me, Andy. So some of them are even, so they didn't mention it, but some of them even seem afraid of being attached to whatever comes out next, because these people understand something that is really, really crucial here. If Trump knew more than he said, if he had deeper knowledge than he has admitted, if he was closer to Epstein than he has presented, then the political cost of defending him becomes their liability. It's like it's a moral stain that they can't wash off. Now, I don't know if Massey is feeling that, or maybe Thomas Massey, who is, one of the bipartisan, one of the Republican folks who are here, who actually presented this bipartisan idea to do this discharge petition. And this is what he is saying. This was him on the steps of the Capitol just yesterday evening. Watch.
And how many Republicans do you think will vote for this on the floor?
Well, I've already had a couple Republicans tell my office privately that they're going to vote for it, and I think that could snowball. The deal for Republicans on this vote is that Trump will protect you if you vote the wrong way. In other words, if you vote to cover up for pedophiles, you've got cover in a Republican primary. But I would remind my colleagues that this vote is going to be on your record for longer than Trump is going to be president. And what are you going to do in 2028 and 2030 when you're in a debate, either with a Republican or a Democrat, and they say, how can we trust you? You covered up for a pedophile back in 2025.
Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that shit? I mean, that is a soundbite. Andy, cue it up to the second part when he talks about what are you going to do? I mean, that is a soundbite. Let's see. Back it up a little. Woo! Go ahead.
The deal for Republicans on this vote is that Trump will protect you if you vote the wrong way. In other words, if you vote to cover up for pedophiles, you've got cover in a Republican primary. But I would remind my colleagues that this vote is going to be on your record for longer than Trump is going to be president. And what are you going to do in 2028 and 2030 when you're in a debate, either with a Republican or a Democrat, and they say, how can we trust you? You covered up for a pedophile back in 2025.
Thank you for watching. Good night. I mean, what else do you need to say? I see there's a troll or someone in there. It's a rhino, and maybe they'll call him a rhino. He's a Republican in name only. Wow. That's where we are. Is that why Marjorie Taylor Greene is doing it? Is Marjorie Taylor Greene seeing around corners? She got an advisor, someone who said, look, this shit is not good. Or maybe she has a source of something saying, you get out now while you can. Get out while you can. Jump on this life raft right here, the early one, before everybody starts jumping on the rats and all that. So this is, you guys know, I love James Baldwin. I love to quote. I've read everything. I need to start rereading James Baldwin. I've read it so much I've forgotten like what was in the other book because I keep whatever. So this is where Baldwin comes in. Baldwin said that power is never as invisible as it believes itself to be. That the truth has a way of rising through the cracks. That the lie cannot live forever because it depends on silence, and silence eventually collapses. We are watching that collapse right now. The lie that Donald Trump has told about his distance from Epstein is losing its weight under the pressure of the paper. And the paper does not lie. That's why you did not see that paper in the Fox News report. The paper doesn't lie. The paper doesn't flatter. It does not spin. It only reveals. This is also where Malcolm X, where his teaching becomes real. Malcolm said to watch what men fear. That fear tells you more than their words ever will. And right now, Trump is not afraid of Democrats or reporters or political opponents. He is afraid of the documents. Because he thinks that he can do what? Manipulate the reporters, the press. And he has been successful at it. He's not afraid of his political opponents because he has beaten them. He's not afraid of Democrats because he sees them as weak right now. But he's afraid of those damn documents. He's afraid of the evidence. He is afraid of the truth that he cannot control. The evidence convicted him 34 times. And also on other things, that he is lucky that he is the president of the United States right now because he might be sitting in a prison behind bars in an orange jumpsuit. And yet this is where a minister's cadence rises in me right now when I think about church, right? Because there is a moment when a leader tries to hide from the truth and the community responds with a voice that is louder than any denial. A voice that says, no more secrets, no more lies, no more hiding what happened to those girls. This moment feels like the beginning of something that the country has not seen in a long time. A moment when the powerful people cannot run fast enough. A moment when their fear becomes more revealing than the files themselves. Now, look, I'm not saying that Trump is finished. I'm not saying that this will end his political career, but it could end him. That's why I say this could end him. And he knows it. I've learned better than to underestimate the machinery that protects powerful men and powerful people. And as I said in the beginning of this thing, Donald Trump has defied the odds. He survived more political scandals than the law allows. Then the law allows, if that old saying cliche has ever been true, it's now. Donald Trump has had more scandal than the law allows. But I'm saying this, for the first time in a long time, he is not outrunning the truth. Truth is outrunning him. And he's got those bad ankles, those cankles. And you know, that big butt and stomach, he can't run that fast, always sweaty and red. Whew. He better get in that golf cart because he can't outrun this truth. He better get on a jet. He can't do that either. Maybe it's not even a supersonic transporter. Because when the truth begins to outrun the powerful people like Donald Trump, everything changes. The story changes. The alliances change. You see the alliances changing now. The public mood changes. That's starting. You know the public mood changes means? The sense of what is possible changes. Harry Enton and my friend Sarah Seidner over on the CNN talking about how the public mood is changing against Donald Trump on the Epstein.
When you you hear from the victims that it's very clear what they want. They've made that clear again and again. What does the American public think about how Donald Trump has been handling the Epstein files compared to all the other issues that he brought up during the campaign?
Yeah, you know, Donald Trump is underwater on basically every single issue he ran on in 2024. But the Epstein files, the Epstein case are especially dreadful for him. What are we talking about here? Well, let's take a look at Trump's net approval rating on the issue. Look, they're all in red. They're all in the negative territory. But on immigration, you know, he's 5 points underwater. Foreign policy, 8 points. Trade and tariffs, he's 17 points. The economy, 18 points. But look at the Epstein case. He is 39 points below water on the Epstein case. His net approval is 39 points in the negative. My goodness gracious. What Donald Trump has been selling on the Epstein files, the Epstein case, the American people, simply put, have not been buying at all, Sarah Seidner.
All right. So is there any sign that things have gotten better since there have been some things that have been released?
At all.
Yeah.
Okay. Underwater. I think that says it all. That's underwater a lot. And so when the mood changes, the sense of what is possible also changes. Oh, I got more. But give me 2 minutes. Here's a word. This episode of the Don Lemon Show is brought to you by Graza. Now, you already know how much I love this olive oil. I cook with it every single week, and I give it as gifts because nobody is mad at fresh olive oil. Nobody. It's much better than socks. What I love about Graza is that it's always fresh. They pick the olives, they press them, and they bottle them in the same season. You can literally see the harvest date right on the bottle. And their holiday gift set, well, that will make it easy for you. They have the dinner party pack with a bottle of wine, cooking oil, finishing oil, a corkscrew, and even olive oil potato chips. So it is like sending someone a whole evening in a box. I also love their duo gift set. You get a sizzle for cooking, a drizzle for finishing, and now they come in glass too. So if you like the look on your counter, you can use those. So I use both in my own kitchen, and it makes everything taste brighter and fresher. Go to graza.co/Don and use the code Don for 10% off of your first order. Get that dinner party pack. Trust me, people love it. Today's show is sponsored by Ollie. Well, you know me. You know I love my dogs. Boomer, Barkley, Gus Gus. They run the house. And when you love your pets like family, you want them eating real food, not mystery pellets that sit on a shelf for a year. That's why I switched them to Ollie. Ollie sends fresh human-grade meals made with real ingredients, right? I am talking turkey, beef, chicken, veggies, all slow cooked so the nutrients stay in. And my dogs absolutely love it. Barkley is the picky one. He will sniff something for 10 minutes before he even considers eating it. Ollie is the one thing he never hesitates to eat. Tail wagging, bowl cleaning. So take their quick 30-second quiz, and Ollie builds a custom meal plan for your dog based on age, breed, weight, all of it. And they even have an app where you can talk to real experts if you want help with your dog's health. So go to ollie.com/lemon, use the code lemon to get 60% off of your first box. And if you're not happy, they have a happiness guarantee on that first box. That's ollie.com/lemon. The code is lemon, ollie.com/lemon. The code is lemon. Your dog will thank you. And we thank all of our sponsors. Thank you very much to all of our sponsors. We really do appreciate it. So, I just got a note from him that says, "Oh, you were in Washington. You left a day early." No, we left. This is right on time, because when we get back to now, we can sit and read it, and we don't have to chase everybody. We know what's happening, because the paper, as we've been saying, the paper, that's the evidence. So this is why Washington feels different today. Why the temperature is higher. Why the panic is so visible, because the truth is coming, and not the truth Trump has crafted, not the truth his lawyers have rehearsed, not the truth his supporters have memorized. There's a truth that lives on paper, the truth that cannot be spun. Those are only the first emails, the first cracks, only the first hints at what may be next. But the fear we are seeing tells us that the people closest to Trump believe that the story gets worse from here, that it doesn't get better from here, that it gets worse. And when fear moves like that, it's usually because the powerful finally are feeling what the powerless have felt for years. That the truth is tired of waiting, and it's on its way. The truth is on its way. Trust me, the truth is on its way. And I'm going to tell you, like my pastor used to say, the doors of the church are open. If anybody wants to join, because I have been telling you this for a while, this feels different. Pardon me. But the White House is spinning it. Now, this is the last spin, but there will be more spins today. Caroline Leavitt yesterday saying basically, what did she say from yesterday? Basically that she said that the emails prove that Donald Trump did nothing wrong. Here it is.
Thanks for being here, Bev. Ouija.
Thank you, Caroline.
Sure.
I have your statement about the new Epstein emails that have been released by House Democrats. Separate from why you believe the emails were made public, can you address their substance? Did the president ever spend hours at Jeffrey Epstein's house with a victim?
These emails prove absolutely nothing other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong. And what President Trump has always said is that he was from Palm Beach, and so was Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein was a member at Mar-a-Lago until President Trump kicked him out because Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile and he was a creep. And this email you refer to with the name of a victim that was unredacted now and has since been reported on in this room, so I will go ahead and say it, Virginia Giuffre. And it was CBS's own reporting, Ouija, that recently wrote that Miss Giuffre maintained
Pause. I want to respond to that before, and I'm going to let it all play. But here's the deal. I just want to tell you about this because this is what I'm getting from sources. Okay. So, so the sources are saying that someone who has seen the documents unredacted, saying that the White House and the GOP are blatantly lying about the identity of the victim in the emails released, that it is not Virginia. And by the way, her name is Giuffre, not Giuffre. Okay. And so, apparently, according to the source, that they're reportedly lying about this, or either they're misinformed about this. So, and that is, I guess that is apparently related to the person I guess he spent hours with or whatever it is. But here it is. Keep going.
Her soul, that she maintained that there was nothing inappropriate she ever witnessed, that President Trump was always extremely professional and friendly to her. And so I think it's a question worth asking the Democrat Party, and you should all go ask them after this briefing, of why they chose to redact that name of a victim who has already publicly made statements about her relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and is unfortunately no longer with us.
Now that's some spinning right there. And then yesterday she said, and we played that yesterday, that this was the most, this administration has been the most transparent about the information that has been released. Wow. I mean, if they're the most transparent, I would like to see what no transparency looks like. Can you get me JD Vance's? This is JD Vance's, just so to show you how things change and just how political are. This is his tweet back in 2021. What possible interest would the U.S. government have in keeping Epstein's clients secret? Oh. Now, this is Jack Posobiec. I think that's how you pronounce it. He's responding to Jack Posobiec says, are you paying attention yet? The DOJ and Ghislaine Maxwell's lawyers have made a deal that her little black book of contacts will never be made public. And then JD Vance says, what possible interest would the U.S. government have in keeping Epstein's clients secret? Oh, so, I mean, if we could just attach a 2025 sticker on that, or today's sticker on that, what would you, I mean, these people are so full of shit. JD Vance is so transactional. He's so transparent. It's just, it's so odd. It's embarrassing. Anything for power, anything. He wants to be president so badly he can taste it. So badly that, you know, probably he would do, if he hasn't done it already, some, you know, that shot that Trump is trying to make more cheaper, and the guy passed out in his office so he doesn't look so fat in his suits. That his suits aren't rising up, like they can barely fit over his ankles when he sits down because it's so fat. I mean, imagine if you put that on today. What is he saying about that? What is he actually trying to say about that? Interesting. Well, Now that we've come to the end of the road. By the way, you guys know who Nick Fuentes is. I just want to say he is a very right-wing conservative. He has been somewhat critical of MAGA. Now, this is what he is saying. He tweeted that MAGA is dead. Do you guys think that this will end MAGA? Or do you think this will be another political scandal? Or this isn't even a political scandal, I've made it clear. This will be another scandal that Donald Trump survives. I don't know. You let me know what you think. Okay. So if you want to know anything about the Don Lemon Show, go to donlemon.com. Donlemon.com. And please click on the watch button, by the way. And if you do, you can become a member right there. You can also subscribe. And that's how you get to our main page. And then if you back out and go to the merch store, you can get to our merch right there. And our Substack is there and all of the other platforms that we're on. But I love that. I've ordered the stuff. Where is it? I can't wait for it to come in. I ordered the beanie. I ordered the long hoodie. I ordered, what else did I order? I ordered the long sleeve white t-shirt. I ordered the Old People Be Knowing mug and the Old People Be Knowing t-shirt. I can't wait to get it. Come on, Shopify, send it to me. By the way, thank you to Maureen Marfell. Because of your generosity, 10 people get to become members of the Don Lemon Show. 10 people get to become members of the Lemon Nation. So thank you for that. And thank you for caring and loving, for your very generous support. And welcome to all of our new members. Also, thank you, Darlene Watson Artists. Appreciate your support of the Don Lemon Show as well, and of this channel. Thank you for helping me to grow it. Hello, Twitch, guys. Twitch, I'm going to have a special stream for you. Also, our members only last night didn't get to go. Oh, I forgot. I don't have the book here. The book is in the other room, but I went to Chris Matthews, had a book signing. He has a new book out. I can't wait to read it. But anyway, I got to say hello to Chris Matthews. I haven't seen him in years. And yeah, so there we go. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I'm going to see you back here a little bit later on today, 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. 5 p.m. Eastern time here on the Don Lemon Show on the Don Lemon channel. Welcome to the new members. Welcome to Red Panda Forest. Welcome to the Lemon Nation. Okay, so you can be informed without being inundated until I see you back here today, 5 p.m. Eastern time on the Don Lemon Show on the Don Lemon channel. Here's what I want you to do. See what this says? Turn the TV off. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Your support means the world to us. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss a show. We're live every weekday at 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern time with new clips dropping at 2 p. and 8 p. And if you want even more Don Lemon Show content, join the Lemon community. Members get exclusive posts, behind-the-scenes videos, and live chats just for you. So hit the join button or visit our channel page to sign up. Thanks again for all your love and your support, and I'll see you next time.